Greetings, dear viewer, honorable viewer, notable, noble viewer. Astrology, rightly understood, reveals many laws, but reveals a singular and most significant law that is ever working to further human progress. And when I say human progress, what I mean by that is the soul, the eternal spirit, the Atman's awareness descending into matter. And for each individual human, the awareness of that knowledge, of that light of the eternal, casting or separating or delineating the illusions of the ego, the shadows of the temporary ego in this life versus the eternal. Human progress, poetically stated as bringing heaven to earth. And there are stages of our evolution. And during the early stages of man's, of humans' evolution, we are compelled to learn certain necessary lessons. Compelled, driven. Get behind me, Satan. Can't talk to you right now. Anyway. My life, speaking for myself, I have never been allowed to be comfortable. Meaning, I have had various stages of success where I had it all going. I had multiple revenue streams. My last high point was I was a member of the Texas Army National Guard. I had that revenue stream. I had a high paying tech job. I had that stream, and I had multiple side hustles that, anyway. But was I happy? Was I comfortable? No. Because I know now in hindsight, and this is going back to 2016, when my soul began to knock on my reality. And perhaps it's knocking on your reality. It's knocking on many people's realities in one way or another. Some people are meant to come into this incarnation, have successful lives, have a stable life, because they produce family. They have a family. They produce bodies, genetic vehicles for souls to incarnate in. That was not what I was sent here to do, deployed here to do as an indigo starseed. And of course, I didn't know that until 2021 when I had the God Force release for my life, the activation of the Kundalini. But all that began, my life went its own course according to my soul, pulling me away from comfort and all of what we commonly understand as success to go another route, which led me to where I am today. But through there was the realization of the soul, the awakening of the God Force, the Kundalini that burned all the falsehood out and put me in alignment. So some people are meant to come into these lives and have stability and whatnot. Your soul has another mission. But whatever your mission should be, you will be compelled at some point to learn certain necessary lessons. For at the beginning of your evolution, you are not master of your fate or destiny. But I was not the master of my fate or destiny to the extent that I thought I was. Now that I am in soul alignment, I am at ease. I am an inheritor, a learner of those lessons, and I'm a much firmer foundation than what I was. I have learned to work with nature, with my animal nature, my genetic vehicle. I have learned to control the vehicles, plural, meaning physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I've learned to control, have more control. I've learned to expand my consciousness into these realms, to become a cooperator with nature, to be able to work in accordance with the unchanging laws of the universe, cosmic law. And I have learned that I am on a path that was concealed from me prior to 2021, but it took the roads of going into the pit of the duality of existence, materiality, of losing, of learning the hard lessons that Saturn and Aquarius came to teach us. But this concealed spiritual, or my real self, my Atman, which was covered up through materiality and false happiness. But truth, dear viewer, reveals itself to each individual in a different way. The sun shines equally upon all. The crystal reflects the light back to the sun, but less so the clod of earth. And this is what Thoth Jehuti talked about, of separating the material from the immaterial. And that will take place in your life. Saturn in Aquarius, which it started in the 8th house proper in 2022. It left that house in March of this year. But Saturn in Aquarius is hard lessons learned through exile and abandonment. Hard lessons. And hard lessons are the dispelling of illusion. There are many people right now that are under illusion, living under illusion. And if you're not within a place of personal integrity, you will be prey to those illusions. No doubt. No doubt about it. I am in a more stable position than I was in 2021. And I see the course of my life is taking me on a path of stability, foundation. Finally, at this age, at 56 years of age, I have gone through the fires. I've separated the material from the immaterial. I live from the causality of my soul and have a clear conduit to my higher God self, the orders of heaven, which I work under. Now, but yes, there are many people that are living under illusion. The great majority of people, the wide path Christians. And it will take them going through hard lessons to finally get to the point. Ultimately, if you have violence in your heart, if you have, if you can justify violence in any way in your heart, then you still have hard lessons to learn. You know, and I'm talking to wide gate Christians, people that are going through this revival of Jesus revival with, you know, with the death of a most notable person. I don't even want to say the name, but CK. And there's a part of me that's joyous seeing this revival of people. It's necessary to go from one side of the pendulum of demonic self-indulgence and what was put upon the family structures of the world, because the family structure is holy. How can it not be? When a man and a woman come together to produce, biologically produce, naturally as God intended, or God in this case being a higher Elohim, an Anunnaki, I don't know. That's a wonderful area of investigation, but certainly you can see how the powers of this world, the transhumanist powers of this world, have thought to change that. Now, Elon Musk is a family man. Okay, he is producing biological genetic vehicles in the natural way, even though whatever else he's involved in with transhumanism and so on and so forth, that's not my area of investigation. I have a sense of intuitive connection to that energy of Elon Musk. I don't have that. I never had that for Obama. I mean, when he won his election back I'll say, great, okay, yeah, time for change, hope and change. But as myself and everyone that was deceived by him saw, he was just more of the same. But as he unveiled his agenda and his style of leadership, I became alienated from him and his racism, and in particular with Eric Holder, who constantly used rhetoric of my people, as this black man, Eric Holder, he's not a ghetto black man. They're both fake. Now, that being said, the mission of the Umbanda New Earth Ashram is to bring healing to the ghettos, to the black people, to whatever you want to call them. I'm talking about African Americans, what have you. I know that my mission is connected with that group of people in this demographic within these hellscapes inner cities that are now being cleaned up, that are now having to learn the hard lessons. When you have created a culture of criminality, when you see a place like Chicago that is a battleground and has been, and that is what a political power has gotten behind, that's what Obama represented. Okay, that is what the New World Order represented, is the complete destruction of these family units and a group of people, I'm talking about all people, totally dependent upon their lower animal nature and living through that. Elon Musk is not that. Donald J. Trump is not that. Okay? And in my estimation, both Elon Musk and Donald J. Trump represent the archangel energies of cleansing, of doing battle with this evil. Obama is of the reptilian, Orion, service to self, highly evil energy that was meant to dominate and destroy this planet. That is the battleground. And that is taking place through one way or another in everybody's life. I can say this, I can be perfectly at home with this because I have separated my material from the immaterial and have for the past 4 years, since September of 2021, lived as an ascetic, as a monk, lived as a saint. Now, granted, of course, my personality is still being perfected, but I'm going to end this now because I hear my dog back there. I think she wants to go out or something. But anyway, be not deceived, because we are in the time of deception. Wide-gate Christians are being led to World War III. The Jesus revival, all that serves its purpose. But I know for a fact that the mission of the Umbanda New Earth Ashram is meant to be here. A stabilizing force that will be a feature of the New Earth and the golden age of humanity. Namaste, namaskaram.